Hey everyone, and welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the world of Spring Boot, all based on the fantastic course by Dr. Sasan Azizian. We're going to look at why this framework is such a game changer for anyone working with Java, and we'll walk through the roadmap Dr. Azizian lays out for building real, professional-grade applications. So, let's get into it.
Right from the get-go, the goal here is crystal clear. This isn't just about learning theory from a textbook. Nope. It's all about getting your hands dirty and gaining the skills to build, run, secure, and actually deploy real-world applications just like a pro. This practical, hands-on approach is really the heart of the entire course.
And you should really think of this as a major transformation for you as a developer. The whole idea is to take you from being a Java coder, someone who understands the syntax and the language, to becoming a true application architect, someone who can design and build entire, complex, and reliable systems from the ground up. It's a huge step up.
Okay, so who is this for? Well, it's not for someone who's never touched Java before. The course does assume you've got a solid handle on these core Java concepts. Things like object-oriented programming, classes, inheritance, the fundamentals. If this list looks familiar to you, then you are in the perfect spot to really take off with Spring Boot.
All right, so let's take a look at the actual roadmap. Think of this as your complete guide, your journey to becoming a skilled back-end developer. It covers everything you're going to need to build modern, powerful server-side apps.
And here's the fun part, what you'll actually be doing. You'll be building applications from scratch, using tools like Hibernate to talk to databases, which is just a slick way to map your Java code to database tables. You'll build REST APIs, which, is basically the language modern apps use to communicate. And of course, you'll learn how to secure those apps, manage all the pieces with Maven, and then finally get them running in the cloud. It's the whole shebang from start to finish.
To really get why Spring Boot is such a big deal, we kind of have to look back at what came before it. It didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was created to solve some really big, really annoying problems that Java developers used to face all the time.
Man, building a Spring app the old way, it was a real headache. I mean, developers would literally spend days just on setup. You had to hunt down all the right library versions, these things called jar files, and hope they were compatible. Then you'd have to write these massive, complicated configuration files, and after all that, you still had to set up a separate web server just to see if your code worked. It was slow, it was painful, and honestly, it was frustrating.
And this is where Spring Boot just swoops in and saves the day. It takes all that complex manual setup and replaces it with something called auto-configuration. So for instance, if Spring Boot sees you're using a database library, poof, it just configures the database connection for you. It manages all your dependencies so you don't have version nightmares, and maybe best of all, it has a server built right in, so you can run your entire application with just one click. It's a total game changer. So you might be wondering, how does all this magic actually work? Let's pull back the curtain for a second. The really important thing to understand is that Spring Boot isn't a replacement for the original Spring framework. It's more like a massive upgrade that makes it way easier to use. The best way to think about it is like this. Spring Boot is a super smart assistant. It's a wrapper that sits on top of the powerful Spring framework. It looks at what you're trying to do, and then it makes intelligent decisions and sets up sensible defaults for you. It handles all the boring, repetitive work so that you can focus on what really matters, writing the code that makes your application unique. All right, enough theory, let's get practical. What do you actually need to do to get your computer ready for this course? Let's walk through the first steps. You really only need two things. First, you'll need the Java Development Kit, or JDK. And listen up, this is important. You need version 17 or higher. That's a key requirement now. Second, you need a good IDE, which is just the program you write your code in. The course recommends IntelliJ IDEA Community Edition, which is totally free and works perfectly for everything you'll need to do. And here's a little pro tip before you even think about Spring Boot. Just do this quick sanity check. Open up your IDE, create a super simple Hello World Java program, and run it. If that works, you know for sure that your basic Java setup is good to go. Trust me, this can save you a ton of headaches down the road. Okay, so your environment is all set up, you're ready to code. Now what? How do you actually kick off a new Spring Boot project? Well, thankfully, you don't have to start with a blank file. There's a much, much better way. You're gonna love this. It's called the Spring Initializer. It's a website, start.spring.io, and it's amazing. You just go there, you pick your project settings, choose which features you want to add, like web functionality or database support, and then you click a button. And just like that, it generates a complete,
ready-to-code project for you to download. It's that simple.
And because of that magic we talked about, that embedded server, running your app is just incredibly easy. You can run it with a single click right inside your IDE. Or you can package it up into one neat little file and run it from the command line. This flexibility makes it super straightforward to deploy your app pretty much anywhere you want, from an old-school server to a modern cloud platform like AWS. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? Every piece of this puzzle, from the auto configuration to the Spring initializer, is all there for one reason: to help you make that leap from being a Java developer to being a professional Spring Boot developer who builds and deploys real applications.
So there you have it. The path is laid out, the tools are there for you, and the journey is about to begin. The only question left is, what are you going to build first? Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.